On June 18, 2021, the lightning-caused Rafael Fire was discovered in a remote and rugged area of the Prescott National Forest. On June 20th, strong winds combined with dry fuels and steep topography moved the fire an almost unheard of 12 miles. Evacuation orders went out and several thousand people were put on set status. Just 20 miles away, Flagstaff, Arizona, home to about 140,000 people, was on the direct path of the fire. Before 2002, the Rafael Fire would have been an anomaly in its size and burn severity, but today it's just another fire. In 1996, the Horseshoe Hawktopher Fire, which burned just north of Flagstaff, was a warning of how wildfire behavior was changing in northern Arizona and across the Southwest. Prior to the 1990s, ponderosa pine forests in northern Arizona were less dense and there were larger areas of open grasslands and meadows which made fire suppression easy with small crews and limited equipment. Since these fires were easily suppressed, natural fires were largely removed from these landscapes. The exclusion of natural fires has resulted in a dramatic increase in fuel loads across these forests. The combination of higher fuel loads and hotter, drier conditions due to climate change and drought have created a situation where Southwest forests are now prone to large, high-intensity fires. In response to these new conditions, fire and land managers have shifted their tactics on how to manage and suppress wildfires. On June 22nd, just 4 days after the Rafael Fire had ignited, the fire moved into the Coconino National Forest. The fire spread out of Sycamore Canyon and towards the previously burned areas of the Sabre and Whiskey fires of 2019. These previous fires were managed for resource benefit. Managed fires utilize a newer tactic that allows naturally ignited fires to burn within containment lines that have been placed around the fire. These containment lines are typically formed using existing roads and other man-made features. When the Rafael Fire approached these areas that had recently burned, the fire behavior decreased due to the lack of fuels, and firefighters were able to safely engage the fire's edge. In addition to the decreased fire behavior at the front of the fire, the frequent spot fires that originated from the Rafael Fire were easily controlled. On June 24th, when the Type 1 Incident Management Team assumed management of the Rafael Fire, the fire was approximately 35,000 acres or 55 square miles and was still heading straight towards Flagstaff. The new incident managers decided to conduct burnout operations, including backburning, using the 2019 Whiskey Fire boundary. The backburns of the Rafael Fire were conducted over 3 nights when temperatures, winds, and humidity were conducive to creating low-severity burns that consumed fine fuels and had a minimal chance of spreading into the tree canopies. From this point on, the Rafael Fire was not the same high-severity fire that had consumed 12 miles in a single day. The 2021 Rafael Fire Incident Management Team not only used previous wildfires to safely conduct burnout operations, they also used areas where mechanical thinning treatments and prescribed burns had previously been conducted. Mechanical fuel reduction treatments designed to replicate tree densities of pre-suppression ponderosa pine forest had been implemented to the north of where the Rafael Fire was burning. These mechanical treatments reduced tree densities from 1,000 to 100 trees per acre. Because of the thinning treatments, firefighters did not need to conduct preparation activities prior to the burnouts, saving valuable time and increasing firefighter safety. The Rafael Fire also burned into areas that had been recently treated with prescribed fire by the Kaibab National Forest. The Sunflower Prescribed Fire Project, which was part of the Ford Forest Initiative, was designed to reduce fuels and return fire to the ecosystem. While the prescribed burn was completed in 2017, the reduction in fuels was still important in helping firefighter efforts 4 years later. Unlike their predecessors who believed that every fire damaged forest, managers today are more knowledgeable about the role of fire within ponderosa pine forest ecosystems. Moreover, management decisions are now based on a scientific understanding that there's an important and fundamental difference related to fire severity. Today, managers understand the low-severity fire that burns in the understory in which most mature trees survive is not only a natural process, but is beneficial to forests and needed to reduce fuel loads. Similarly, managers understand that high-severity or canopy fires are not desirable from an ecological, social, or economic perspective. While the Rafael Fire was a full suppression wildfire, managers utilized a different type of full suppression strategy than the suppression efforts of the past, which employed aggressive, direct attack strategies. Today's fire suppression strategies are science-based with a greater understanding of the role of fire and the unintended consequences of fire exclusion. Current suppression strategies are not intended to minimize the area burned, but instead to consider fire severity along with other risk factors. By mid-July 2021, the Rafael Fire was contained and the final footprint was approximately 78,000 acres. 63% of the fire burned at low severity and only 7% at high severity. The residents of Flagstaff and the surrounding communities were relieved as they had dodged another wildland fire. Although Flagstaff is still in danger of a wildfire, the tactics and decisions made by the fire managers on the Rafael Fire have reduced the chance of a catastrophic wildfire for years to come.